Okay, John, that's the sound on. I've got an announcement to make. And it is nothing really, but then again, it is something big. It's bigger than big. It's monumental. And when you hear it, I know the first thing you're going to want to do is leap to your feet, and you want to applaud. A thunderous applause is going to go on and on forever, so I ask you to contain yourself, and please don't respond in that way. Okay, just remain seated, remain silent. And this is a milestone. It is something that many people never thought would happen, but it did. Once again, please compose yourself as I make this announcement. Today marks my 20th anniversary as a minister. I really didn't want that. Gosh, it just feels so good. It's so good to just be here, enveloped with all of you in this space of love, in this space of peace. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about heaven and hell. Now, in theological conferences where people of all religions come together, hell is oftentimes a topic of discussion, and there's oftentimes disputes in people's opinions. One way to look at hell is a place that we may or may not go after we leave this earthly plane, depending on whether we've been naughty or nice. It can be a destination in our future. And another way to look at hell is those situations and circumstances in life that really seem to be emotionally tormenting for us. We're all probably raised with some concept of hell embedded into our culture and into our world consciousness. We even use the term hell for other reasons. You have somebody how it's going in their life if they have a problem or something. No, it's just hell. It is just hell. Sometimes we even use it to direct people to a certain place. Well, you can go there. Now, the experts in human behavior tell us that in order to make life a little bit more like heaven, and a little bit less like hell, there's three things that are absolutely essential. The first thing is a sense of purpose. We have to feel like we belong on this earth, that we have a special place here, that there's a meaning to our existence, and that there's a purpose for our being. The second thing is relationships. We all need each other. That's the bottom line. There's no other way we can feel love without expressing it towards somebody or receiving it from somebody. We have to have relationships that have a sense of love within them. And then the third thing is peace of mind. The greatest desire each and every one of us has is for peace of mind. We can deal with the problems and challenges of life. We can deal with the setbacks. We can deal with anything that life has to offer as long as we can have a peaceful state of mind. Now, the experts in human behavior also tell us that the easiest way, the thing that dictates the measure of these three things in our lives, a sense of purpose, loving relationships, and peace of mind, it's the way that we see ourselves. So it's all about us in a way. It's the way we see ourselves and how we feel about what we see. It all has to do with our self-image. Each and every one of us has one. We have a self-image, and on that image we place a value. And then that can be very low. Low self-esteem, it can be very high, a good sense of being. Now, the biggest problem with having a self-image that is healthy and that is whole is we live in a world that constantly, day after day after day, continually tries to make us be something other than what we are. Every morning when we get out of bed, we can have a sense of who we are. Our selfhood can be whole and unconditional, but then as we go through our day, there are advertisements that bombard us. There's other people thinking that we should be different. And there's all sorts of different things that come in to dislodge us from that point of truly being centered in our selfhood. Now, this being the 20th year of my ministry, I'd like to share with you an experience that I had. And it had to do with ministerial school. I remember walking on the grounds the very first day and thinking, at last I'm on a spiritual path that can lead me towards a sense of wholeness, that can support me in being who I am, and I no longer have to be something that I am not. It just felt wonderful to be out of the village, in those spacious grounds, and know that I was moving in a direction that truly was going to be healthy for myself. Well, about 6 weeks after I was in school, I got a note in my mailbox and it asked me to turn up in a certain room at a certain time. And when I did, there were 5 members of the faculty in there, and they said, "This is a review of your progress." Well, I thought, well, that's good. I sat down and they started explaining to me that there is such a thing called the normative unity minister. And the normative unity minister is that channel that they like to put people in, and they like to have people conform to how you speak, how you dress, the appearance that you have. All sorts of different things come into this kind of cookie-cutter normative minister model. They went on to say, unfortunately, you kind of missed the mark. You're not really in that channel, dude. And at that time, I had hair down to my shoulders, and it was kind of everywhere necktie would seem to be a big problem for a lot of people. And they said, when people don't really align themselves with this normative minister channel, we put them on what we call the concerned list. They explained to me that that's what I was on. I was on the concerned list. And that I needed to be a little bit different in order to be a minister. Now, this had nothing to do with academics. My academics were fine. I was polite to everybody. I didn't have any moral decay. I moved through all that, so I came in pretty clean. But then I saw that I was a little too introverted, a little bit too shy. I remember one of the faculty members, said that I was aloof. And at that time, my mind was spinning, and I didn't really hear what she said. I thought she said I was a loaf. And I declared that I've never loafed a day in my life. How dare you say that? Which didn't really help my cause. So I was on the concern list 6 weeks into school. Every month, we'd have another meeting. We'd come back. There'd be progress reports, and I remained on the concerned list. After a while, the 5 faculty members were getting tired of dealing with me, so they assigned me to one faculty member that I would meet with once a week, and we would talk, and then we'd have the grand meeting again. So as time went by, I really tried to become what they wanted me to be. I mean, I wanted that more than ever, and I didn't want it to jeopardize my ministerial career. But it just seemed like it took too much energy. It took too much effort to try to put up a facade that this is me, when behind that facade, it wasn't me at all. It was work. It was hard work, not being ourselves. Well, the 2 years passed, and the License and Ordination Committee came to town, and they're the ones that review ministerial students to see if they're eligible or if they're approved to go out in the field and be a minister. And once again, it was 5 people. We met in a room. They talked to me about the way I was. They talked to me about my progress through school. And they said, there really doesn't seem to have been much change. And then someone else said, are you sure you want to be a minister? And then somebody else said, there's other ways that you could go with this. And I had come to 2 years, and I was just right up to the edge, ready to leave the nest and fly, and all of a sudden I just felt this threat that it's all over. One of the people asked me, do you have anything to say? And I couldn't think of a thing. And somebody else said, anything at all. And deep from the archives of my memory came a story I'd written many years earlier. And I looked up at them and said, this is the story of Johnny the Peach.